Started. And I'd like to welcome you all to our 2026 month finale for our Lunch Club Travel Edition this month. We've been taking a look at some overall ideas and concepts that we should look into for the rest of the year. But why not take a look at the most uplifting things and good news that made a difference that you may not be aware of? And I was quite fascinated with what we found out today.
All right, Alex. Well, I'll jump in here, Alex. So why focus on good news? Well, positive moments remind us of human progress. Good news boosts hope, resilience, and well-being. 2025 brought meaningful changes worth celebrating. All right, Alex. Good topic. Caring for our planet. So major global agreements protected oceans and wildlife. Several endangered species showed signs of recovery, and communities worked together to restore natural habitats. Nice.
So today's session is based off this article that I read and that they do every year, which I found quite fascinating. So this is what our session is based off today, and I had put the link here in the chat so that way you can more further read. So these are the top 25 good news stories of the year, and we'll be taking a look at some videos for some of the most fascinating things. And so everything from scientists treating the untreatable, species coming back from the brink, solar surged, rivers revitalized, 70 being declared the new 60, plus more good news. So they're separated by these categories. So Lou, I'd love for you to read each one, and then we may or may not have a video, okay?
Sounds good. So, nature and environment. Well, an ocean treaty, a landmark victory for the high seas. A landmark deal to protect the high seas finally became a reality in September, bringing hope for marine ecosystems and the people who rely on them. A total of 79 nations have now ratified the Global Ocean Treaty, way beyond the 60 required for it to become law. Iceland, Brazil, and Japan joined the list in December. Australia, the UK, and the US are among the heel draggers. Oh. The treaty will enter into force in 2026, giving governments a legal framework to protect waters that lie outside of national boundaries. Currently, only 1% of international waters are protected. Greenpeace said the treaty could establish the largest network of ocean sanctuaries in history. This is the most significant victory for ocean protection and restoration I have ever witnessed. That's really significant. So if they can cordon off areas of the ocean for no fishing and the like, that could really be significant.
Quick one. We have lots of quick, short videos.
The treaty's already been called historic. Awaited for years by ocean researchers and activists, 60 countries have just ratified it to protect the high seas. The decision was welcomed by the UN Secretary General.
As we face the triple planetary crisis of climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution, this agreement is a lifeline for the ocean and humanity.
What do you think of this quote, everyone? Climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution. Would you say that's true of a lot of things that are going on in our lives, in the world?
I'd say so. What do the other folks think?
Sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think of, we have to take care of the land that we're on, but we also have to take care of the ocean too. Without the ocean, we wouldn't have the land and vice versa. And you see that statistic about that 1%. That's so crazy, right?
A key measure of the treaty is the creation of marine protected areas to safeguard biodiversity. Today, only 1% of the high seas are subject to conservation measures.
The oceans beyond national boundaries is the world's largest crime scene. When you do not have established governance and management rules, countries, private sector, illegal actors take advantage of the global commons.
Having a treaty is seen as an important step in fixing the problem.
So today we're celebrating an amazing and important step forward for our ocean. This treaty will help enhance the health and resilience of the ocean beyond national jurisdiction, the high seas.
The treaty also aims to make countries estimate their impact on the seabed before carrying out any activity there, instead relying on countries to regulate their own companies and ships.
Any overall thoughts on the ocean? Well, this is great. Everything that we're talking about happened in 2025.
I never really thought of it like that, but yeah, it's an unpatrolled area. I mean, you're probably talking about 70% of the Earth or 60% is completely lawless, you know, once you get outside the national boundaries.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, Alex, you want me to pick it up here?
Sure, yes. We'll be going through most of these, not all of them, but most of these right here.
So COP16 deal, a step forward for nature. Despite the tumultuous geopolitical landscape, nations agreed in March to mobilize at least $200 billion per year by 2023 to help developing countries conserve biodiversity. The commitment was hammered out in Rome, Italy at the COP16 Biodiversity Conference, agreed by 196 states that signed up to the Convention on Biological Diversity, including Russia, but excluding the US. The deal was hailed a win for multilateralism in uncertain times. Negotiators from all countries put their differences aside to forge a common path forward, said Lynn Lee, a senior director for global policy at the World Wildlife Fund International. What's left now is an urgent need to mobilize funding to ensure we reach the $200 billion a year commitment by 2030. Despite the progress, many countries wanted to see greater ambition to halt and reverse biodiversity loss by 2030, a target that looks likely to be missed.
Yeah. So nature protection.
Yeah.
What do you think of toucans? This picture right here. Wouldn't it be sad to lose an animal like this?
Think of Fruit Loops.
Beautiful. I mean, nature is here. Okay, we have videos for some of these, but some species came back from the brink. Halting biodiversity loss remains one of the planet's most critical challenges. Dozens of species prove that extinction is not inevitable. In a feat that once seemed improbable, the green turtle came off the endangered list following a decades-long mission to save the species. What do you know about the green turtle, everyone?
Nothing.
Nothing about the green turtle. Me neither.
Nothing.
Here's a quick video. Green turtle bounces back from brink in conservation.
And back from the brink, how green turtle numbers are on the up, marking a major victory in conservation. The green turtle has been rescued from the brink of extinction in what scientists are calling a major conservation victory. It was once hunted extensively for decorative shells and for food, and the numbers plummeted. But thanks to decades of global efforts, new data shows green turtle populations are rebounding. Our environment correspondent Helen Briggs has the story.
Scuttling across the sands of Borneo and getting their first dip in the sea. These baby green turtles face a dangerous journey ahead, from getting tangled in fishing nets to illegal hunting. Scientists have worked for decades to boost its survival odds, and now a landmark moment. The green turtle has moved back from the brink of extinction, with numbers rising by about 30% since the 1970s.
I
Very
think it's great that sea turtles are nearly off the endangered list. It just tells this great story of how people across the planet can come together to turn things around and turn the negative trajectory of turtles into a positive one.
The recovery of the green turtle has been put down to protecting the beaches where they lay their eggs, stopping illegal trade, and measures like adding turtle escape routes to fishing nets.
He can be quite a pest, actually, at feed times. He'll come and steal the food off the sharks if we're not careful.
Here at the National Marine Aquarium in Plymouth, home to a green turtle rescued after straying into British waters, experts have welcomed the news.
I think people like turtles because they're engaging and they're charismatic, and people create this emotive response when they see one. And I think that's the important thing about engaging with the public. You need to make them love the ocean. And when they learn about something, when they love it, they're more likely to protect it. So I think the important thing to remember here is there's hope. You know, there's hope that we can actually make things better.
The aquarium works to raise awareness of marine conservation, with Friday the star attraction.
They're that charismatic species, and if we look after the turtles, then hopefully we can look after the other animals that depend on the same environments, like the seagrass beds on which they depend on to survive.
On the menu today, lettuce as a replacement for the natural seagrass diet of wild turtles.
Sea turtles like Friday here having his lunch have really captivated the public imagination, raising awareness of wider issues affecting the oceans, from plastic pollution to unsustainable fishing. And he's a really curious little fellow, aren't you?
Look at that turtle.
Things may be looking up, but these ancient mariners will still need protection for years to come. Helen Briggs, BBC News.
Any thoughts on green turtles? Who knew? Any thoughts? In May, a kingfisher native to Guam laid eggs outdoors for the first time in almost 4 decades, thanks to a breeding program, and a singing insect was also brought back from the brink in England, while the brown trout returned to cleaned up Swedish rivers previously despoiled by industry. Meanwhile, the crane staged a remarkable comeback in Scotland, having been hunted to extinction there. The recovery of 150 on the brink species in neighboring England was also hailed a conservation success story. Hound shark off of Papua New Guinea, jaguar numbers surged in Mexico, and Chinook salmon was spotted in the Chiloquin Basin in Oregon for the first time in 100 years.
Wow.
Any thoughts? Any thoughts?
It's very hopeful.
Wow. Seen some challenges, but we've also seen some real progress in protecting our planet for both people and nature. Here are 5 wins that gave us hope this year. In Bhutan, new eDNA results revealed the presence of snow leopards and other rare species, like the woolly flying squirrel, in high-altitude habitats. WWF supported a program that decreased sea turtle egg poaching on the beaches of Buru Island in Indonesia by 99%. We're celebrating 10 years of conservation success in Sumatra's 30 Hills Forest Concession, home to some of the world's most critically endangered species. Maryland and Washington became the latest states to adopt extended producer responsibility policies to reduce plastic pollution, joining 5 other states taking action nationwide. And along the Rio Grande, WWF continues its commitment to restoring the river's natural flow and helping build a more resilient future.
Any new things that you learned? Snow leopards, right?
I know WWF. I have a friend that worked there. They're based in DC. It's a big nonprofit.
Yeah, we they have an app, and we've talked about it quite a few times, and they go into the details of a lot of endangered species. So it's a pretty cool app. All right. Check out Lou, would you mind reading this about deforestation? So we all know
Sure,
about, like the
sure.
Amazon, and we hear about the forest going away. So
Oh, it's so important. You know what, by the way, they don't talk about it much, but imagine, they used to talk when I was living in Seattle about how much of the virgin forest there was being cut to print newspapers. I mean, almost nobody gets a printed newspaper anymore. So just that alone has got to have a huge impact on preserving forest in our country here. Okay, let me start. Slowing deforestation rate, a hopeful trend. Deforestation was slowed in every region of the world over the past decade, according to a report published by the UN Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, in October. Describing the findings as a hopeful trend, the FAO also noted that more than half of forests are now covered by long-term management plans, while 1/5 are within legally established protected areas. The FAO said that the world had lost 10.9 million hectares of forest annually in the last decade, down significantly on the 13.6 hectares lost per year in the previous 10 years, and 17.6 hectares lost in the decade before that. However, despite the hopeful findings, the FAO warned that the world is still losing far too much forest. And folks, I think America has the most fabulous forest by a mile of any other place in the whole world.
I mean, that's going from 17.6 to 10.9 in 20 years. That's an amazing difference right there.
It's so sad to think of cutting these virgin forests, in the United States and Canada. I know Canada, I think, is still doing it. But I mean, they're just so precious and so incredibly beautiful.
Covering nearly 1/3 of the Earth's land area, forests are rich, vibrant ecosystems.
I mean, look at this.
They are home to more than half the world's terrestrial species and a vital defense against climate change. Forests store carbon dioxide, safeguard biodiversity, and support well-being, food security, and economies. That's why understanding how we are using and managing them is crucial. Every 5 years, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO, conducts the Global Forest Resources Assessment, or FRA.
I've never heard of it.
With data for 236 countries and areas, FRA 2025 provides the most comprehensive information on the world's forests. The latest assessment has some encouraging findings.
The data show that deforestation has slowed down globally in the last decade, and it has done so in all the world's regions.
Between 2015 and 2025, global deforestation averaged 10.9 million hectares annually, down from 13.6 million in the previous period. FRA 2025 also shows that largely untouched primary forests, which account for nearly 1/3 of the world's forests, were lost at less than half the rate in the previous period. 1/5 of the world's forests is in legally established protected areas, and more than half of all forests now have management plans. But despite the reduction in deforestation and efforts to establish new forests, forest area has shrunk by more than 200 million hectares since 1990. And deforestation remains a major concern.
The deforestation rate of nearly 11 million hectares per year is still far too high. Encouragingly, many of the countries are making a serious effort to conserve, sustainably manage and use their forest, as well as to restore degraded forest and establish new forest through afforestation.
Among those making progress is Brazil, home to vast Amazonian rainforests. Brazil is a world leader in deforestation monitoring and data-driven policymaking.
I mean, isn't that like we've been talking about Brazil this is our 3rd week now, so look at these rainforests. I mean,
deforestation monitoring and data-driven policymaking, which FAO works to support.
O monitoramento florestal detalhado ajuda a gente a saber aonde de fato o desmatamento está acontecendo para a gente identificar como que as nossas ações de controle ao desmatamento e também aos incêndios estão realmente refletindo na redução do desmatamento.
Brazil aims to restore 12 million hectares of native vegetation by 2030. And with FAO support, it is empowering indigenous peoples to lead restoration and rehabilitation initiatives on their ancestral lands. In the Caatinga drylands in the country's northeast, the Shukuru people plant trees grown in their 20,000 seedling-strong native species nursery.
Nosso povo, interligado com a nossa ancestralidade, buscando sempre as orientações para que nós possamos seguir na missão de cuidar, de zelar, de proteger por esse ambiente que a gente vive e que vai servir para gerações futuras.
Brazil is not alone in its restoration efforts.
According to the data reported to FRA 2025, 91 countries have pledged to restore 190 million hectares of forest. That is an important step towards global forest restoration goals.
By conserving, restoring and sustainably managing forests, monitoring progress and doing it inclusively, these precious resources will help us meet the challenges we face. But it will take continued commitment from every country.
And just looking at this image and them planting trees. What do you all think of the video and forests? Any thoughts?
Well, you know, I heard that the Amazon rainforest is known as the lungs of the planet. I heard that a long time ago.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. They want to restore it.
It's a massive carbon sink, absorbing vast amounts of CO2 and releasing oxygen. It accounts for more than half of the planet's remaining rainforest, the Amazon, and home to more than half the world's species of plants and animals. So we have to protect the Amazon and all the world.
Absolutely.
So we kind of went from the ocean to the forest to species, and you can see how they're all connected. Hope you guys have enjoyed so far. A bit more about the environment. Australia, Colombia, Greece, Portugal, and Sao Tome and Principe were among the nations announced new marine reserves. There were 6 sites in Spain alone. The Australian government also is able to contribute Great Koala National Park, the largest protected area in the state of New South Wales. And hope you guys enjoyed looking at the environment. Lou, please take it away for climate and energy.
Thanks. You know, I was scanning my pictures to see if I had some pictures of the forests in Washington State when I lived there. And we have the most beautiful forests in America. Okay, the renewable juggernaut thundered on. Green energy records tumbled in 2025, despite an anti-renewables president returning to the White House. For the first time, the combined might of wind and solar overtook coal as the world's leading source of electricity. We are seeing the first signs of a crucial turning point, said somebody, a senior electricity analyst at think tank Ember. Ember added that solar is now the fastest growing source of electricity ever. A decade ago, it accounted for just 1% of global electricity. Today is 9% and rising. In China, it has grown 20-fold. Key to this is a continuing collapse in solar costs, which have fallen by around 90% in a decade. Meanwhile, investment continued to flood in as Donald Trump decried the green energy scam at the United Nations General Assembly in September. The Zero Carbon Analytics think tank noted that global investment in green energy was up 10% year on year in the first half of 2025. Amazing.
Isn't that amazing? Wind and solar more than coal.
We've done projects in Africa in rural areas, and solar is all they have. And we really witnessed firsthand this incredible collapse in prices, but also an improvement in technology, where the photovoltaic cells are now so much more efficient. where a single panel can generate so much more power than it did just 10 years ago.
Yeah, amazing.
Renewable energy has become the world's biggest source of electricity for the first time ever, overtaking coal in the first half of this year. This is according to the global energy think tank Ember. As electricity demand keeps rising around the world, the growth in solar and wind was strong enough to meet all the extra demand and even caused a slight decline in coal and gas use. This year marks a major change as renewables now make up to 34% of global electricity, while coal has fallen to 33%. But the picture isn't the same everywhere, as developing countries like China and India are leading the way in clean energy, while richer nations are lagging behind. Fossil fuel use in the US and the European Union went up, and experts say renewable growth may slow down under President Donald Trump's policies. China and India play a huge role in this shift. China added more solar and wind power than the rest of the world combined.
Look at these statistics. That's crazy.
Cutting its fossil fuel use by 2%. In India, clean energy grew over 3 times faster than demand, which was unusually low this year. That record growth in solar and wind, combined with low demand, reduced coal use by over 3% and gas by 34%, driving a 3.6% fall in India's power sector emissions. India added record levels of solar and wind in the first half of 2025, even with slower demand growth. Clean power rose enough to cut coal use and emissions, showing how renewables are reshaping India's power system, said Neshmant Rodriguez, senior energy analyst at Ember. Smaller South Asian countries are also making progress. Bhutan, which depends on rivers for hydropower, is adding solar energy so it can have steady power even in dry months. In Nepal, a fuel blockade in 2015 pushed the country to switch to electric vehicles, powered by hydropower, and now 76% of new cars sold are electric.
So that's a big number.
Sri Lanka, on the other hand, an economic crisis forced a rethink, and now half of its electricity comes from renewables, with a goal of reaching 70% by 2030. Coming back to India, according to the National Electricity Plan for the decade 2022 to 2032, India plans to reach 570 gigawatt of renewable capacity and to reach 44% renewables in total generation by 2031.
So it went up in developing countries, but the United States and the EU went up in some of these fossil fuels. Any thoughts on the video, folks, and learning about clean energy?
Well, it's interesting. Am I on mute?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's interesting that China and India are leading in renewable energy. You know, the United States used to lead in everything, but China and India and other smaller countries are leading in the renewable energy area. So that's very interesting to me. And China has more renewable energy than all the other countries in the United States combined and in the world combined. So that's interesting.
Yes. Thank you for sharing, Geraldine. Hope y'all have enjoyed. Going on to science and technology. Oh, you guys are really gonna like this one. Lou, would you take it away?
Sure. Scientists treated the untreatable. Medical developments that sound like the stuff of science fiction became a reality in 2025 as doctors treated the untreatable. In July, gene therapy treatment helped people born with genetic hearing loss to recover some of their hearing. Then in October, it was revealed that blind people were able to read again thanks to a revolutionary eye implant. The device was inserted under the retinas of 38 people with untreatable age-related macular degeneration. Paired with video recording glasses, the technology enabled 84% to read. In the history of artificial vision, this represents a new era, said Mahi McQuaid from London's Moorfields Eye Hospital. 2 months later, scientists revealed that a world-first gene therapy, which turns white blood cells into a disease-busting living drug, had reversed previously untreatable blood cancers in children. Wow. And in another once impossible medical development, scientists treated Huntington's disease for the first time using gene therapy to significantly slow the disease. This result changes everything, said Professor Ed Wild from the University College London Huntington's Disease Center. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. The Huntington's disease was in the news. Do y'all remember when that news came out last year?
No.
Yeah, that was, I thought, I was like, wow, I'm so happy to see it here. But wow, everything from hearing loss to blood cancers to blind people were able to read again. And that's the one that we're going to take a look at. So from their perspective. So take a look.
Now to some good news, because for the first time blind patients have been able to read again thanks to a microchip implanted at the back of the eye. A surgeon at Moorfields Eye Hospital in London, who led the pioneering treatment, says the results are, quote, astounding. Our medical editor Fergus Walsh has been to meet Sheila, who says the treatment has changed her life.
Sheila Irwin began losing her sight more than 30 years ago and is registered blind. This is what her world looks like due to a condition called dry age-related macular degeneration.
I mean, just to go back, how could you imagine living in a world like this?
Dry age-related
How would you be able to see? What would you be able to do?
It's frightening to even think about it.
It can be. Just to have the world look like this. So I'm so happy they have these treatments.
Dry age-related macular degeneration, or AMD.
Is it left now? Yeah, it says no, innit?
He hasn't been able to see in 30 years. That's a long time.
But everything changes when Sheila, who's 70, puts on these special glasses.
They docked at Rhine-Tor.
She can read again.
Next day.
For the first time in years. So how is this possible? This tiny microchip, as thin as a human hair, was implanted under Sheila's retina. Here...
Look at that picture. I mean, how do they do that?
You can see it in position at the back of her eye.
For company.
A camera in the glasses sends a video feed via infrared beam to the chip, which is enhanced by computer. The images on the left are the camera output. Those on the right are what Sheila sees.
Oh my goodness.
That's something.
Look at that. The left is what the camera sees, the right is what she sees.
And that's why you want medical research to continue. You don't want medical research to be cut as it's being cut by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. You need all of this research to enhance people's lives.
Right.
Tin of
Look at her
tar paint. Out of this world. Amazing. One happy bunny. I could have cried when I looked, because I haven't seen letters for so long, and then I lit up the word, and it was overwhelming.
It's really made a tangible difference to your life.
A big difference, entirely, because I read the Post, read books, do crosswords, Sudoku.
Did you ever imagine that you'd be able to read a book again?
Never. Never on your Nelly.
Yeah, I'm just checking the
Never on your Nelly.
macula. The chip's in an excellent position.
Moorfields Eye Hospital in London played a key role in the international trial. Of 32 blind patients given the implant, 27 were able to read again using their central vision.
It's amazing. 27 out of 32.
This is the first treatment that's been demonstrated to effectively give patients meaningful vision that they can use in their daily life, such as reading, writing. So I think this is a major advance. This is pioneering, and I think what you'll find with patients that it is life-changing.
There we go, Sheila.
Thank you.
The technology is not yet licensed or available on the NHS, but offers hope to thousands of patients with Sheila's form of dry AMD.
I'm going to turn off the lights now.
Thank you.
Yep.
It takes concentration, but she's now able to read every letter on an eye chart.
Wow.
Sheila's delight at the new technology is plain to see.
Very impressive. Very good.
Fergus Walsh, BBC News.
I thought that was something else. Any thoughts on the video?
You see the commercial where the man here in DC is on there, and he said he was legally blind and they did something to him and now he can see again. It's on TV, a commercial. It's a commercial for a vision and repair association that's on you. So now I see how he sees, because I was wondering how could they make him see, but now it's helping me to understand.
Yeah, it's medical, it's advancements are happening with their at this very time in life. So
my older son, he had a blur vision. He was driving down the street. He couldn't see well. And when he went to the doctor, they put an injection in the eye. They said it was a blood vessel that was broken. They did it 3 times. He said the thought of putting a needle in his eye was scary, but now we can see fine. It clears up that blood vessel.
Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's wonderful.
It can be a hard journey, but imagine after so long you can now read again. That's something else.
Yeah.
Just more about medical advances. Surgeons removed a previously inoperable brain tumor from a patient using a new procedure. New drug combination was credited with boosting survival rates for women with aggressive inherited breast cancers. A new drug pathway outperformed chemotherapy with the chronic lymphocytic leukemia. Well, that's amazing. If you don't have to go through chemo, and was said to be transforming lives. AI-assisted brain scanning tool rapidly sped up stroke diagnosis, which is amazing. First-time babies were born free from a deadly hereditary disease, thanks to an IVF procedure that used the DNA of 3 people. And a miracle baby girl became the first baby in the UK to be born to a mother with a donated womb.
Wow. See, that's why you need medical research. All of these examples point to
Yeah, you're right, Geraldine.
Yeah.
Look at this. Wow, it's amazing.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
25 years down the line from starting this research, we
25 years, worth it.
finally have a baby.
I know.
She's the first UK womb transplant recipient to give birth.
Something, are you?
Yeah.
They have some amazing doctors in this. Everything.
This happened just
I
last
think I didn't recognise this for a number of years, but I've always been very nurturing and I had so many motherly instincts, but I've just had to suppress them because it was too painful. But I'm just so surprised because I thought when she came along that I might be a bit emotionally not all there because I just have suppressed so much for so long, but it's just amazing. I just feel like from the minute she was born, I've just been able to just feel all those feelings that are just so natural to me.
Sucker for more punishment and some more.
Yeah, she was diagnosed with the rare conditions, which meant she did not have a uterus.
Wow.
Maybe you don't know how much you can handle.
It was given to her by her sister during an 8-hour operation in 2023.
Yeah.
Family. Good to have family.
I know, right?
That's awesome.
Funnily enough, the scariest thing for me on the day of the delivery was the prospect of dropping the baby as she was handed to me. And I held her again a week later, and I have to say I walked out of the room in Queen Charlotte's with tears streaming down my face. Yeah.
Yeah? Is Dad going to have to do that one? Is it his turn?
Yeah, get him to do most of the nappies.
I couldn't be happier for Angus and Grace. What a wonderful couple. So we are very, very... It was overwhelming, actually. It remains overwhelming. Yeah, fantastic.
What do you all think of that story?
No, God.
Amazing.
Amazing. All right.
You know, my cousin went blind from diabetes. He could see when he was younger. He went to college. He made a lot of good money. And then all of a sudden, he just went blind. And he's in a nursing home now because he can't see nothing. And I wonder if this will help him.
Yeah.
Always ask for another opinion, another expert, ophthalmologist, and I hope this inspired you today. Thank you.
Say that again.
I said I hope today inspired you to learn more and to help your loved one.
Yeah.
Scientists have hailed a golden age of cancer treatments. The chances of surviving it had doubled between two nations, between 73 and 2023. It's really a golden age. Everything, detecting bowel cancer to be 90% accurate to predicting which people will go on and develop the disease. Researchers claim to have identified the roadmap that cancer cells use to leave a tumor. Isn't that something?
Yep.
Scientists have also claimed to develop an ultra-rapid test that diagnoses brain tumors in as little as 2 hours. A big improvement in the 6 weeks that it currently takes. And there are new blood tests accurately detecting early signs of Alzheimer's and ovarian cancer.
Wow.
Blood test. Oh, well, maybe that's something to to share with Giovanna and see what she can find. That looks so interesting. Going on to maybe a topic familiar with Lou. Would you take this one away? And we have a video.
Absolutely. Uganda rapidly got on top of an Ebola outbreak. Oh boy. Health authorities in Uganda declared an end to the country's Ebola outbreak in May, less than 3 months after the virus was confirmed in the capital, Kampala. 14 cases were reported with 4 deaths recorded. However, Uganda's Ministry of Health acted fast to contain the virus, deploying medical teams to investigate each case and dispatching support workers to reduce stigma around the virus, helping medics build trust with affected communities. Uganda's leadership and resilience were crucial in containing this outbreak, said Dr. Kasandi Mwinga of the World Health Organization. The people of Uganda have shown extraordinary resolve. It's interesting. I was flying to Africa when they had the big Ebola outbreak to hit Liberia and all that stuff. And it was amazing how just all travel in Africa was wiped out. I was literally the only guy on my section of the plane, only one person sitting on a 200-seat plane.
Wow.
Yeah, flying across the ocean. Because it was nobody was going to Africa during that.
No, like it was. I remember reading a book called The Hot Zone in middle school, high school, and it was all about how Ebola started and just how nasty and deadly the disease was. I mean, one of the deadliest diseases in the whole world, and it's just this fact right here. If you know anything about Ebola, it kills, and it kills very fast, and a lot of people. But out of just 14 cases, only 4 died, and they were able to contain it in just 3 months when some of those outbreaks took forever, and it's the response is amazing.
The announcement by the country's health ministry came after the passage of 42 days without a single case of the disease. The World Health Organization said 12 confirmed cases were registered and 4 deaths. 10 people recovered from the Sudan strain of the virus, whose outbreak was declared on January 30th. The variant has no licensed vaccine, but Ugandan officials authorized a clinical trial for one under development to be tried on health workers and contacts of cases. The outbreak was confirmed in Uganda's capital, Kampala, following the death of a male nurse. It was the 9th time Uganda has detected cases of Ebola. Most outbreaks have been swiftly brought under control. Ebola infections are frequent in Uganda, which has many tropical forests that are natural reservoirs for the virus.
Happy birthday.
That's so true. Again, in the book, those natural rainforest reserves, they can be home to a lot of things.
The first Ebola outbreak in Uganda was declared in 2000. The deadliest Ebola epidemic killed more than 10,000 people in West Africa between 2013 and 2016.
Happy birthday.
So how how amazing they're able to control it, right?
Yeah, I'm glad about that. That was a terrible disease.
Yeah. Thank you for reading that, Lou. Some other things is the number of people dying from chronic diseases globally fell in 4 out of 5 nations between 2010 and 2019. The number of polio cases globally have plummeted more than 99% in just 35 years. In the 80s, some 350,000 children per year were left paralyzed by polio, a figure that now stands at 50. It's still 50 too many, but isn't that amazing progress?
Yeah.
Polio, 59 million young lives have been saved since 2000 thanks to the measles vaccine. And the world is closer to a future free of cervical cancer.
Yay!
A study found more than 86 million girls in the most at-risk nations had received a vaccine against human papillomavirus, the leading cause of cervical cancer. Georgia, Suriname, and Timor-Leste were certified malaria-free. Lou and seniors are still countries that are still dealing with malaria, which is so insane. And Mauritania, Papua New Guinea, Burundi, Senegal, Fiji, and Egypt all eliminated trachoma, the world's leading cause of infectious blindness. So more people are going to be able to see across the world. Trachoma. Anyone heard of trachoma before?
I haven't heard of that.
Yes.
I didn't know a name for it, but I know people with that.
70 really is the new 60.
Yeah, it
is. Instead of looking at the prevalence or absence of diseases, a study that these English pensioners did assessed your functional abilities, chiefly their cognitive, locomotor, psychological, and sensory capacities. 19,000 people have taken part, and they found that a 68-year-old born in 1950 had a similar capacity to a 62-year-old born a decade earlier. Isn't that amazing? 70 is the new 60.
Dr. Jen joins us. Jay-Z said 30 is the new 20. Remember that? But a new study shows maybe 70 is the new 60. We'd love to hear it. That's what it's looking like, you guys. This was a new study published in the journal Psychology and Aging. Smallish kind of study done in Germany, which really asked people of certain ages, how old do you feel? And what they've noticed is that even people in their 60s and 70s, particularly in their 70s, they don't even feel their age. And so as people get older, they're seeing and feeling themselves as younger than their stated age in some cases, which is amazing, and certainly younger than the number. So for example, if they were 74, they said, I feel 72 or I feel 71. And I think what this speaks to, longevity, vitality, Those are now common parlance words that are not just concepts, they're reality for so many people. And when you talk about the things that steadily tend to decline with age, strength, mobility, cognitive function, all of those things we're learning more and more are so heavily dependent.
Isn't that so true? We're learning a lot more about those things, so you can really feel younger than your supposed age. What do you all think about that? 70 is the new 60.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can do anything at any age, but really, the advancements elsewhere can affect you and others when they get older. So
Mm-hmm.
love that. Um, thank you all so much. We're almost there at the end. Lots and lots of great news. Please check out the article in the chat. But the last one that we're going to go over today, well, really quickly here, the violent crime plummeted in the US. The murder rate is down almost 20% so far this year. Violent crime has fallen by nearly 11%. That's really great. In Brazil, the murder rate plummeted by 20% over the last decade. London's murder rate is the lowest it's been since the records began in 2003. Ireland was able to have basic income for artists, and cities became more livable. So we're going to end with across the pond, a city once dubbed the dirtiest in the US was designated North America's first national park city. Have you all heard of a national park city before? Chattanooga in Tennessee was infamous for its acrid air and toxic water, but has been transformed by citizen-led cleanup and environmental legislation. Is that true about Chattanooga, Tennessee? Anyone heard of it being, not so good?
I don't know why it would be a national park. I've been there, but don't know enough about it.
Yeah, so we're gonna take a look at this video right here. They really made a change, but Tim Kelly, the mayor of Chattanooga, Tennessee, speaks about the city becoming the first national park city in the Americas.
National Park City mean to you?
National Park City?
I would say it's probably a city.
No clue.
Certain protections about like nature and like the land, but I don't really know.
I would assume like a city that just really prioritizes the environment and the nature around it. What is a national park city?
Well, the easiest way to describe it to people generally is to think of it as living in a city in a park rather than as a city with parks in it. So the first time I heard the concept, it just made perfect sense to me. It wasn't like it was an aspirational thing. I'm like, you just described Chattanooga to me. That is Chattanooga.
A city that is a park versus a city with parks in it.
You as a city do better than anybody else that nobody's likely to be able to copy. For Chattanooga, it is this. It is our God-given, beauty and our situation here on the Tennessee River, right here at the tail end of the Appalachian Mountains. It makes perfect sense for Chattanooga. I don't know how you could be a national park city and not have the nature, but ultimately it's about people. It's about community and people's relationship to nature. And I think that next deeper layer of understanding around the concept really has to do with the way that we connect to each other through nature. And Chattanooga has an extraordinary sense of community. It's funny, I was reading a little note just now from a woman who just moved here from Ohio, and she said it better probably than I can say it, because she was like, this is truly an extraordinary community. I think one of the things we realized during COVID was how important nature is to our health, to mental health, to physical health. It attracts the sort of people who want to do outdoor stuff and spend time in outdoors. And those are the sort of people that we want to come to Chattanooga. I would just say, if you're curious, come visit. We hear over and over again how great the culture is. Condé Nast calls it the friendliest city in America, which I think has to do with the hospitality culture. So there's no bad reason to visit, but I think if you come and see, you look around, you'll get it right away.
I mean, a park that's a city. I never heard of this before, but I hope you all enjoyed. the first national park city in North America.
Thank you, Alex. That was beautiful.
Mm.
Hey, Alex, you know how sometimes I try to jump in at the end to show a quick thing? Do you mind if I do that now, just for 60 seconds?
Sure. But at the end of the day, not everything was perfect, but progress happened. Positive change is built step by step, and every win matters, big or small. 2025 reminded us that positive change is possible. It's shaped by everyday choices, and hope grows when we notice what's going right.
Wonderful.
So yes, please share, Lou.
Oh, thanks. Well, you moved me, Alex, when you talked about, I keep bringing up the forests in America and how, grateful I am that we have this country to have these forests. I was thinking that the tallest tree in the world is in America. The biggest, fattest tree in the world is in America. The oldest tree in the world is in America. And I just wanted to show a very, just maybe end with a little snippet on a video of one of the most beautiful forests in the world. This is the redwood forest in California, and this is just such a global treasure to have something like that. Just imagine this is in our country, available for us to see, and it's preserved for the world. And there's nothing like this anywhere in the world. So I'm very grateful.
If there's audio, make sure to move the mouse and
sure.
If there's audio, make sure you hit share sound in Zoom. So you may have to stop sharing for a second.
Okay.
Here,
I'll stop sharing and
okay, there you go. So now make sure that sound button is on.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it looks like a wonderful video.
Yeah, I got it now. Thank you, Alex.
That tree. That beautiful, folks.
Welcome to El Viejo del Norte, otherwise known as the Old Man of the North. Let's check him out.
Wow, look how tall that tree is.
Well, I'll stop it there. I know we're over time, guys, but it brings a tear to my eyes to think that we have that. Yeah. I'll keep playing it if you want, but
well, Lou, again, this month, this is our last session of the 2026 month. We looked at culinary journeys, music across the world. We looked at Black community and culture across the world in honor of MLK, and now we looked at 2025 and what positive things happened. Any thoughts on our sessions this month, and also seniors as well? Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, Alex, I don't know if it pertains to this, but I'm sure excited that the Seahawks are in the Super Bowl, my second favorite team. Yes.
Yes. But I hope everyone enjoyed all of this.
Okay, third favorite, Lions, Commanders, Seahawks.
Okay. All right. Put the Commanders in there.
Same.
Let's say thank you to Lou for hosting today, and I'll be back at 1:30 for a module. So thank you, Lou, for hosting.
Oh, thanks, Alice.
Thank you for showing that big tree, Lou.
I'll do a story on forests if you ever want, Alex. I'd love to do that. All right.
Thanks,
Lou.
Thank you,
Alex.
Lou.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you, Lou.
Enjoy.
Bye, y'all.
Take care, you little rascals.
Thank you, Lou, for coming on.
See you, Ron.
See you
Bye,
soon.
Brenda.
All
Bye,
right.
Tara.
Take care, Lou.
Bye.
Bye, Lou.
Bye, Brenda. Bye,
Safe
Alex.
travels. Safe travels, Lou.